We made it. Here we are, the finale of the San Francisco 49ers all-time draft, rounds 19 through 25 today. You might want to hit pause and go back to see the first few episodes of this thing. We're 3 episodes down. Episode 4, the finale, we will have 75 all-time 49ers greats drafted, 3 teams of 25 players here. Team Peacock, Team Crocker, Team Winkler coming at you. The finale, all-time 49ers draft. Right now.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers. Brian Peacock, Eric Crocker, and our weekly Winky Wednesday guest, Nicholas Winkler, at BD Peacock, at Eric_Crocker, at Bay Area Wink. You know what, Wink, during this draft, I don't think we've been playing your proper intro music, so let's get that going first of all.
Nicholas Winkler, come on down.
Can't believe it. Nicholas.
801.
801. Actual retail price. Oh, 810. Nicholas.
All right, there we go. That is a proper intro for Nicholas Winkler on another Winky Wednesday here on Locked On 49ers. We made it, guys. We are at the finale episode, part 4 of our all-time San Francisco 49ers draft. We've got 18 rounds down. We'll go 19 through 25. And Wink, that means you're on the clock. Let me bring the draft board up here. And it's been really fun. So before I posted part 3, I put the first 10 rounds up. That was the first 2 episodes. And I asked the followers on Twitter, I said, okay, who's got the best team so far after 10 rounds? And it was pretty amazing how even it was with Team Crocker and Team Peacock. Everybody, my team was clear. Everyone's like, well, you don't have a quarterback, so I can't pick you. And it's like, well, there are 15 rounds left. I might draft a quarterback today. You guys never know. I might roster a quarterback in this thing after all. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's still really good players out there that we can draft from 49ers history. So I'm stoked for this. And I think we all have really strong claims to how good our rosters are right now. Wink, how you feeling about your roster before you go on the clock here in round 19? Let me scroll up to the top so the folks can see what happened at the beginning as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really like what I did on offense. I'm playing not really short ball, but I've got Gore and Craig coming out of the backfield, Deebo Samuel. I essentially have 3 running backs and Joe Montana. And then I've got George Kittle and Brent Jones. So my offense is fantastic. I love where that's at. I've got a great offensive line built so far. My defensive line is crazy. Fred Dean, Bryant Young, Dana Stubblefield, just picked up Dolman there in the 20th round. I feel really good with what's going on with Team Wink right now.
Absolutely. I like it too. Croc, any thoughts about your team, or do you want to trash Wink's team before he makes a pick?
Nah, I mean, I think it's clear. I know you said that everything was kind of a little bit even with the feedback we've been given, but I feel like I got the edge with the comments. So really? I'm feeling comfortable where we're at right now.
Oh, people must not be adding Winkler and I in those comments, because I didn't feel that way at all. I do like your squad, though. I mean, all 3 of these teams are really strong. This is going to be fun to see what they actually look like when we put them all together and look at the actual depth charts after 25 rounds. So we have 22 rounds to draft all our starters. We can get a little sub-package action in there with a couple extra picks that take us through rounds 25 here. So 75 total picks will be the end of this thing. Wink, you are on the clock now at pick 19, or round 19, pick number 1 in this round. Which direction are you going now?
Well, my defensive backfield is a little bit weak right now. I kind of waited on that. Croc jumped on that early, which, was expected here. Team Wink saw that one coming. So I kind of laid back. I did a little history, did a lot of research on this. So again, going back into the Wayback machine here, a little time machine, a little history lesson for you guys out there. Gentlemen played back in the late 40s, in the 50s. Talking about Lowell Wagner, defensive back. Okay, in 1951, he had 9 picks. 9 picks is the second most ever by a 49er. Dude had 25 interceptions in just 47 games. Do the math. That is over 1 interception every other game that this guy made. So you want to talk about a lockdown corner, a game changer, a guy that can really make things happen? Lowell Wagner there as my second cornerback.
Wow, going in the Wayback Machine. I like that a lot. Lowell Wagner. And one of the fun things about this exercise for us is we get to sort of go back before our time. Because I know a lot of people know what the recent 49ers are, and they might overrate some of those guys compared to historically some of the old time players. So it's fun to, learn myself about some of these guys. Go back and I've actually watched some film with some old timers and see what they actually look like versus their peers. And when a guy's running away from the people on the field, he's got speed. So I don't care what area you played in. If you were better than all the rest of the folks that you played with, you were a baller. And I love that. Lowell Wagner going way back. And this is actually the oldest player drafted so far, right? Because he played in the 40s, you said?
The 40s. 49 was his rookie year.
Oh, yeah. This, Leo Nomalini and Lowell Wagner, both drafted in 49 by the 49ers then. So there we go.
Quite a draft.
Yeah.
Well done, 49ers.
Hell of a draft. All right. Team Croc. Strong squad. You've already got your nickel corner. Like, you have no needs for corner, although I wouldn't be shocked if he goes corner one more time here before this thing's over. Which direction you going now, Croc?
Well, I am going defense. I am going somewhat on the back end, but not all the way. I need another linebacker. I think that guy here is a guy that was very versatile, very athletic. Guy by the name of Julian Peterson. So we're going to take linebacker Julian Peterson off the board.
I got to say, it's a really good pick, Croc, and he wasn't getting back to you. So it's a smart move that you went right there, because I would have completed my linebacking core, which would have been an all-timer with Willis and Bowman. I would have put Julian Peterson with that group. And
that would have been nasty.
That would have been very nasty. He would have been one of my two picks. He wouldn't have been this pick, though. And I think it is time for me. I want everyone to just kind of like mellow out.
You getting it out the way now? You getting out the way finally?
Feel it. Close your eyes. Feel the vibe about what my team might look like now when I add a player that, guys, and let me ask you this. Wink, how many times did your quarterback for your all-time 49ers team lead the league in passing?
I don't believe he did ever.
Croc, how many times did Steve Young lead the league in passing in his illustrious Hall of Fame NFL career?
He had to do it at least once. At least once.
Are you sure about that?
0 times? He was MVP. He was league MVP.
There you go.
Well, how about a guy that was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers that was a league MVP, that led the league in passing not once, not twice, but 3 times in his NFL career? He is the quarterback for Team Peacock. I'm talking about the one and only John Brodie, who was the league MVP in 1970. He led the league in passing with over 3,000 yards. In 1965, 30 touchdown passes, 61% passing. He was putting up Jimmy G numbers 50 years before Jimmy did it in Kyle Shanahan's offense. That's what we're talking about, and they did not throw the ball back then like they do now.
He actually threw more touchdowns than Jimmy G and probably less games per year.
Oh, yeah, fewer games for sure, yeah. And he should have been in the Hall of Fame and might still get in. There's a lot of folks that have been trying really hard to get John Brodie into the Hall of Fame because of the numbers he put up. He could never really get past the Cowboys, and this Cowboys-49ers rivalry goes way back past the 90s. It goes back to the 60s in this era of 49ers football. Couldn't get past those Cowboys in the playoffs despite the fantastic career he had. MVP, led the league in passing 3 times. 1965 had over 3,000 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 60%. I mean, that is just amazing for the time. And born and raised, local kid, went to Stanford, then played for the 49ers, almost went and played in the PGA Tour before he was a pro football player. And then after he retired, he went to the senior tour and actually won on the senior tour. So that's what kind of an athlete we're talking about here in John Brodie. He is the quarterback of Team Peacock, and I'm starting to feel really good about the team I put together now.
That's a solid pick, man. I got to say, though, how many championships did he win? You want to talk about our guys not leading the league in passing. I mean, I could just throw up a 4 real quick for my guy.
Well, I wonder how many he might have had. I wonder how many he might have had if he had maybe someone like Bill Walsh as his coach.
Jerry Rice was pretty good, too. He helped both of our quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, and guess what? He gets to throw to Jerry Rice now on Team Peacock. Right?
There you go. Maybe he'll get one now. Not against Croc's secondary, though. Good luck.
Oh, Croc's secondary's got no shot against Jerry. You don't stop Jerry Rice. You don't even try to contain Jerry Rice. He's going to get his.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go Julian Peterson with this pick, so I'm going to think about this one for just 1 second. I'm going to look at my draft board really quick. There's a lot of good players out there. Julian Peterson is now off the board. Oh, man, there's a lot of ways I could still go with this. You know what I'm going to do, though?
I like how I stumped you a little bit. I like how I threw a wrench in your plans.
There's other players I liked. I don't have a cluster buster for the rest of my group. And I think the best player on the board who hasn't been drafted, I'm just going to go best player available. And he was in the news for not the right reason this week because, unfortunately, a Hall of Fame San Francisco 49er player passed last week, and that is Hugh McElhenny. And he was part of the $1 million backfield. He played with guys that were already on my team and John Brodie, and was just the most amazing backfield of their era, along with Joe Perry as well. And Hugh McElhenny, I just want to add a little bit more juice to my offense. So I'm going to go with Hugh McElhenny, bring the king in onto my team. And I've got 3 running backs now. I can keep everybody fresh. I can move guys around. I've got guys that run with power. I've got guys with speed. I've got guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And Hugh McElhenny is the most elusive of the group now. So I'm going to add Hall of Famer Hugh McElhenny, just best player available for the 49ers. And I'm taking him off the board here.
Not a bad pick. You mentioned Joe Perry. It's funny. He played in 3 decades. In the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. Like, dude played forever.
Yeah, he was Joe Perry. I don't think I mentioned it when I drafted him before. He was he was at one point the leading rusher in NFL history until
when he retired. When he retired, he was the leading all time.
Yeah, until Jim Brown passed him up, and he's still number 2. He's still number 2 in 49ers history in all-time rushing yards. Is Joe Perry. Wow. And by the way, John Brodie, number 2 all-time passing yards in 49ers history. Ahead of somebody who's a quarterback on my opponent's teams here. Just want to throw that out there as well. People sleeping on John Brodie. I see a lot of people out there telling me which quarterback to draft, and they were not going far enough back in history. It's a clear number 3 to me in 49ers history in John Brodie.
I like the late heat here by Peacock in these rounds. Yeah. I'm digging it.
I like the old timers we're going with right now. Bygone era draft picks. 3 out of 4 of these. All right, we're back to Team Croc in round 20. Pick number 2.
Well, definitely not going old era here. There are 2 guys that I want in this range. I don't think you guys are going to go with the other guy that I want because you have that position already sold up. So I'm going to go offensive line here. I need a guard. I got my tackles. I got my center. I have a guard. I need one other guard. And I'm going to go with the guy who was a 2-time All-Pro for the San Francisco 49ers. They actually drafted him as well, Mike Ipati.
Nice. That's a solid pick. He was there for a long time.
Ipati, yeah. It's a good pick.
He even went into the Arizona and had a pretty good career too.
Yeah, he kind of banged up at the end of his career, but he was a stud. He was a monster.
Yeah, four-time Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Who do you play next to? Davis? Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Didn't they get picked at the same draft or one apart or something?
Yeah, same draft.
They were drafted in the same first round. That's right.
That's right. Oof. Another good draft.
Wait.
Can we wrap up round 20 here?
Yeah.
All right. I got to stick with the secondary. This is a guy that just fantastic safety guy. Once you hear his name, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember this guy. He had 9 picks back in 2003. It's a guy that can hit you, can go get it. Tony Parrish can be roaming my backfield or my secondary.
I like it. Okay, Tony Parrish is the pick for Team Winkler in round 20. He's got back-to-back selections. We'll get to his pick in round 21 as we finish this thing up. We've got 5 more rounds to go. We're going to have to go a little bit faster than we did in rounds 19 and 20. But I think we can make it and finish it up today in the 4th and final episode of the all-time San Francisco 49ers draft. But I want to talk a little bit about our friends at rockauto.com, and they are some folks that have helped me out quite a bit as it pertains to I've actually impressed myself, guys, with how good I've been able to fix my own car with some minor issues. And I'm not a car guy at all, but and by the way, YouTube is a good friend in that as well. So that helps me with my last little bit. Instead of dropping $500 on some new fender flares when one came popping off on the freeway, $40, got the part, got it delivered, watched a YouTube video, and popped it up right back on myself. And it was pretty darn easy. I don't even think I needed the YouTube video after all, because I got the part and all the pieces I need for cheap at rockauto.com. And I was blown away that they had it in stock. They have so much in stock for your vehicle. Go to rockauto.com, look up your car, and you'll be blown away about all the parts they have for your car or truck. So why choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more markup for the same parts from a chain store or a car dealership? They have everything you can need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, fender flares, new carpet for the interior of your vehicle, jumper cables, wiper blades, all the small things that you need for your car. Get that thing in tip-top shape at Rock Auto, a family business that's been serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and Rock Auto prices are always reliably low for every customer. So go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck, right? Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. Okay, guys, this is fun. I love this. I love doing drafts. I don't know why drafting is so fun, but I can't wait for our fantasy football draft. By the way, Wink, that's going to be
it's coming up. 2 months, man.
Got to have a better showing this year. I was awful last year.
You had too many margaritas last year. That was the problem.
That's your secret, is you get everybody to go to your restaurant for the draft, and by the end of the thing, I was bad. We're not talking fantasy.
You took 5 quarterbacks. Yeah. You had a rough one there.
They were all bad. I was like, well, I'll just wait on quarterbacks. I'll take a bunch later. One of them's got to be good. Nope, none of them were good. None of them were good.
Didn't work out.
We are in round 21 now, Wink. Which way are you going on this team? You going defense? Or you going to go back to the offensive side of the ball?
I'm going to lean into what I'm doing best here. I'm going to go to that defensive line. You need to have a rotation, right? You want to keep guys fresh. You want to keep guys rushing the quarterback. And really, nobody's done it better for the 49ers than this guy. I got into it the other day on Twitter. Shout out Tony Nagatani. He was almost, I was afraid you guys were going to get this before he came back to me, because I already have the all-time sack leader in Bryant Young, right? But before 1982, sacks weren't official, but this guy had 108 of them in just 10 seasons. We're talking about 14 game seasons too. So do the math on that, how dominant Cedric Hardman was as a defensive end. This is a guy that's just going to go get it. He had 18 sacks in 1971, again, in a 14 game season. So he's a beast.
The all-time leader in sacks for the 49ers. And I think it was clear to folks who watched him play, which is not me, that he was one of the all-time dudes. And you always hear him brought up. And to be honest with you, best player available. I think it was another situation like that, Wink. So that's a very good pick. And I saw Tony going back and forth with you on that. And before it was an official stat, Cedric Hardman, clearly the leader all-time in sacks. So you've got number 1 and number 2 now on your roster in 49ers history as far as sacks go. And I think he just took Croc's guy.
He did not take my guy. Okay. All right, I was going offense all the way here. I was going tight end all the way here. And it was tough. You guys took some really good tight ends. You got Brent Jones. You got Vernon Davis. And it's like, well, okay, where do you go? So I'm going to go with a guy who was definitely very talented. Maybe didn't have his peak years as a 49er. Went on to the Tennessee Titans and had an illustrious tight end career there, pass catching. I feel like if they could have used him more with the 49ers, he would have been better. We're talking about a guy who played receiver in college, went to a Division II school, played H-back / tight end with the 49ers, returned kicks, and was really an explosive player. 1 year had the dropsies a little bit, but dynamic player nonetheless. And pairing Delaney Walker with the other pass catchers I have, which Terrell Owens, Anquan Bolden, John Taylor, and now Delaney Walker, I really like what I've done there with my pass catchers.
Yeah, with Walker, you saw flashes of it, right? With the 49ers, he'd have those games where you're like, oh, man, they should be getting him the ball like 8 to 10 times a game. What are they doing? But, he really blossomed in Tennessee for sure.
Yeah, he put on the number 80 number. He felt more like a pass catcher, and all of a sudden he goes crazy, and he was a top 5 tight end in the league.
D Love, I remember it was like the first like rookie camp or the first training camp with the 49ers, and they have the rookies stand up and tell the team about themselves. And he told the team that his nickname was D Love. And I guess they just were relentless about it. And they're like just killing him for calling himself D Love. But what an odd player Delaney Walker was. He was like part fullback, part wide receiver. And that came together as a really nice tight end in the NFL. So sleeper pick though, but I think that was the next best tight end you could have taken, probably, Croc, after Vernon Davis. And then Wink went with both Brent Jones and George Kittle on his team with the 2 tight end set. He's going to be running over there. I like how we all have different offenses going too. Croc's definitely skewing towards sub packages and sub personnel. I've got a little bit more base. Wink's going to go 22 personnel.
I got Steve Young as my quarterback. We want to throw that thing around.
I'd love to see Walker in a Kyle Shanahan offense, and that as an offensive weapon, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Actually, that OW, a little move tight end, fullback, H-back role, could move him outside as well. Yeah, that'd be good stuff. I have really struggled with what I've wanted to do at my 3rd wide receiver position, because since I waited so long on quarterback, I've really wanted to, add some more playmakers to my offense. And I'm trying to figure out who I want my number 3 wide receiver to be. And I think I'm going to go way back again with this one and go Gene Washington.
Nice.
As my wide receiver. In that 1970 season when John Brodie was MVP of the NFL, Gene Washington had 1,100 yards receiving. He went on to have an illustrious career as an executive with the NFL as well. And I think he's the perfect number 3 wide receiver for me here. And I like that I've built a little bit of chemistry here with some of the old timers that played together. And I think that bodes well for my Team Peacock when we go out there and these teams actually take each other on, which unfortunately we don't ever get to see happen.
Crazy thing about that 1970 season for Gene Washington too. You mentioned the 1,100 yards. That was on only 53 catches. Dude averaged 20.8 yards per catch on the season with 12 touchdowns. That was wild.
Yeah, I got to get that defense off Jerry a little bit, and I'll probably go 3 wide, have Dwight Clark, Gene Washington on the outside, move Jerry into the slot, give him that 2-way go, get him off the line of scrimmage, get him a free release so I can open up some space for him in this offense. That's the way I envision it.
For his career with the 49ers, too, he averaged just over 18 yards per catch, too. I mean, the guy did something really well, and that was go along and catch the football.
Yep. The deep threat, absolutely. So little speed to the offense I've added in the last couple of rounds here. But now I've got to have somebody block for my quarterback. I still haven't finished the right side of my offensive line. I'm staying with the old school here, and I'm going to go with the guy who rewrote how to play the offensive line position in the NFL, and that is Howard Mudd. First of all, a fantastic name. If you're drawing up a name for a guard, it's a perfect name. But he was a 2-time All-Pro lineman. He had kind of a short career, but he was among the league's best while he was playing, and then went on to be an offensive line coach in the NFL forever and an all-time great offensive line coach. So this guy's going to be a coach on the field for Team Peacock, and he's going to be my starting right guard. Howard Mudd. Team Croc on the clock at round 22.
Yeah, I like my linebacker core, but we need a little bit of nastiness. All right, Fred Warner, solid, love the way he plays, and I think he's going to elevate the guys around him. Julian Peterson, he's a versatile guy, he can play off ball, he can pass rush, do all those things. But who's that? Like the guy that's going to start some stuff. All right, I need that guy. That guy is Bill Romanowski.
Yep.
All right, so we need to get a little dirty here. All right, let's go. Won 4 Super Bowls throughout his career. I was obviously won some with the 49ers as well. So Bill Romanowski, let's go.
Yeah, young Bill Romanowski with the 49ers. Go ahead.
Hey, real quick on Bill Romanowski, he was kind of Fred Warner before Fred Warner. When you look at a lot of his measurables, I got his measurables pulled up here at the combine. 6'4", 231 pounds at the combine, ran a 4.76. Pretty athletic, especially back in that age for a big, tall guy that was kind of a little bit on the slimmer side.
Yeah, back before they were drug testing.
Plus, if you really need that guy to spit in someone else's mouth, you've got it. You're ready to go.
Yeah, just in case, right? You need to tell somebody off their game.
I got to say, let me scroll up here a little bit. Bill Romanowski added to a group that already has Deion Sanders, Terrell Owens, Aldon Smith. This locker room is not going to last more than 2 games.
Hey, I only needed to last for 1 game.
No, you got to play at least 2. You got to play at least 2 games.
Oh yeah, 2 games.
You got to play both of us. After round 1, you're out. So you may win that first one. Implosion there.
1-0 DQ. All right. Round 22, finish it up. Team Wink.
Yeah. You went Howard Mudd there. I can raise you actually a better lineman name for the 49ers. It's a 4-time Pro Bowler. This guy's a center. He's probably the best center of all time for the 49ers. You just got to go into the Wayback machine. You just got to do a little history. You got to check it out. Forrest Blue is my center. Again, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro too. So not just making the Pro Bowl, but just the best in the entire league. Like that's a guy that's gonna. He could probably spit in Bill Romanowski's mouth too. I think he's a tough guy. Those centers.
Yeah, those old-time centers, old-time offensive linemen, man, they're not worried about how much teeth they have left. You got to be built a little bit different to play on the line in the NFL in that era. And yeah, Forrest Blue was right in that group of players for me. I went with Randy Cross as my center. So, but Forrest Blue was somebody I was going to be looking at if I didn't have a center at this portion of the draft. It's a really good pick, an all-timer for the 49ers for sure. I like that we're giving the youngsters a bunch of names to go back and learn about, and a lot of players that I've learned about too. And I actually went back and I was watching like old clips of John Brodie to Gene Washington, and those kind of things got me excited. Watching Hugh McElhenny's moves and see if he was like the Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey.
Well, like in the old school like football photos and stuff too, where they're like down doing a 3-point stance, like smiling at the camera. It's fantastic.
All right, let's see. Let's finish it up. Next, we've got 3 more rounds, 23, 24, and 25. We've got some sub packages we can fill out here. I think there's a couple starters that need to be drafted as well on some of these teams, and we will put the finishing touches on the all-time San Francisco 49ers draft next. But first, I want to tell the folks out there about Bet Online. Unfortunately, there's no odds, but I would love to hear the listeners put some odds on Team Peacock versus Team Croc versus Team Winkler and who they think would win in a tournament of those teams. Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information, but you can bet on the 2022 NFL season and the real San Francisco 49ers. You can bet on Trey Lance to be MVP in his first year as a starter. You can bet on who the first coach to be fired will be in the NFL. You can bet on the celebrity boxing match of Adrian Peterson versus Le'Veon Bell. Who the offensive defensive players of the year will be, coach of the year. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, news, Major League Baseball, boxing, golf, live betting, esports, and more. Get on over to Bet Online today, desktop or mobile device, to learn more about all of the trends and action at Bet Online, where the game starts. Round 23, Team Wink is on the clock. If you're watching us on YouTube, let me pull up the draft board here so the folks can see what we're dealing with. I'm going to scroll back up to the top again real quick so you can see how things looked for Team Winkler, all the way from Joe Montana, Bryant Young, Frank Gore, Roger Craig, and all the way down now. Today, you've taken Tony Parrish and Lowell Wagner and Cedric Hardman. Forrest Blue, going very old school today, is Team Winkler. Who you got in round 23?
This is something a lot more current. A guy that I think was a lot more was expected out of him when he was drafted early by the 49ers, but he had a pretty decent career as a 49ers. He had a great 2012 season. 85 catches, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. I need a second wide receiver. It's going to be Michael Crabtree.
Oh, going Crabtree. Okay. Yeah, he was on my list of wide receivers when I was trying to figure out who I wanted my number 3 to be. I went with the speed, the big play, down the field guy in Gene Washington. But Michael Crabtree, and it's kind of easy to forget that pre-injury Crabtree earlier in his career, like years 2, 3, 4, like some of the numbers he put up. He was darn good.
Solid. Yeah, solid. Like I said, I think he was just more was expected because he was a top 10 pick.
That was a good place.
Yeah,
to take
it felt disappointing. Oh, he was the one. Okay, it was Crabtree that was going. Crocker.
Yeah. So that
now what are you gonna do?
It threw me off just a little bit, but again, I want a little pizzazz. Gosh, this is tough. This is tough because I was going him, and I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna take him.
I thought the same thing.
And I was looking, okay. So I got my secondary set up. I think I'm pretty good here. Probably could use one more guy, and I think that guy I'm gonna go with. I only got one running back right now, and that running back I have is Garrison Hurst. But there was another guy that had a good season for the 49ers. Let me make sure pull up, just what I'm thinking I saw, and I think he's somebody that would definitely go well with Hurst. Let's see here.
I love how
You got another locker room guy.
Not a locker room guy.
Woo!
I'll give y'all one more guess.
I messed up that. One more guess. Okay. All right.
So-
are we going to go? Okay. I got to guess. Is it Charlie Garner?
Charlie Garner. Let's go.
Nice.
Shifty, making guys miss. Played on the Niners in 99, 98, in 99 and 2000, he had 2 good years for the 49ers. So ran for over 1,200 one year, ran for over 1,100 the next year. Touchdowns, 11 touchdowns between the 2 years as a rusher. And he also had pretty good pass catching numbers as well. So Charlie Garner, let's go. Got my 2 backs, Garrison Hurst and Charlie Garner. I like it.
He had the shoulder shimmy, like when he was trying to dodge. Yeah,
That's some
he was
wiggle
just like, "Hurrah!" I loved it.
He was a fun running back to watch. I love me some.
Only
Charlie.
played for the Niners for 2 years. I felt like it was like a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
Felt like it.
That works in really well with your mercenary style roster, Croc. Played really well for a short time. Yeah, but those are the rules. You get their peak with the 49ers. He's a pretty good player.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, well said. Absolutely. I love that. Where are we at? How many rounds left do we have? 3 rounds. Okay. I
You
still
have
got
3 more picks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to finish up my starters. I think it's the only starter I have left is right tackle. And basically he was the Harris Barton before Harris Barton, and that is Keith Fahnhorst. And if you go back to like 1976, I mean, before all of us were born, not all of us as in the listeners, but nobody on this podcast was alive when Keith Fahnhorst started playing, but he was part of those early Bill Walsh teams. He was an all-pro in that 84 season when the 49ers won the Super Bowl. He was just a stud player and a stalwart. And between Fahnhorst to Harris Barton, for 22 years, they had right tackle just locked up for the 49ers. And so consistency, just a really good player. Keith Fahnhorst, he's going to be my starting right tackle on Team Peacock. And now my offensive line is complete.
That's solid. I like that. I thought you were going to go Anthony Davis there. I'm not going to lie.
I was thinking about it. Fahnhorst just played as good, but he played longer. So, I feel like he was a bigger part of 49ers franchise history.
Respect.
Anthony Davis was really good, though, too. 49ers are not short on good offensive linemen. It's pretty amazing that we're able to find 15 guys and feel pretty good about all of them.
Yeah, a lot of Pro Bowlers still being taken here.
Yeah.
Late in this draft.
All right, I'm going to go with a thumper here because I've got a really good sub package, I think, but I want to. Oh, am I going to go with thumper? No, you know what? I'm not going to go thumper. No. I need my nickel back. That's what I'm going to do here. I need my nickel corner, and I haven't drafted anybody to step into the nickel role yet. And I'm going to take a page out of Croc's book and go with someone whose star shined brightly, but for a short time for the San Francisco 49ers. He's an all-time great. He's a Hall of Fame player. He goes by the name of Rod Woodson. That is going to be my selection in round 24. And wow, we're talking about Rod Woodson here. This is a guy who could lock down one of the sides at corner. He went on to be he had 2 Hall of Fame careers, one as a corner and one as a safety. So, we're bringing him off the bench right now, right? So I could come in, I play some outside corner. He could, then Ronnie Lott could sneak down into the slot if I wanted to do it that way. I could put Woodson anywhere on this defense. I could put Ronnie Lott anywhere on this defense. Unbelievable that he's still available with the high level play played for the 49ers. Wink doesn't
it wasn't that high with the 49ers. Like, you look at before the 49ers, I think he was defensive player of the year before he came to the 49ers. Then he was like, all right. And then he went to the Ravens and was just had, like you said, that second kind of Hall of Fame career. So like the Niners were just kind of like sandwiched in between 2 great careers. It was like, he wasn't bad as a 49er.
He
belongs on the bench.
He was snubbed for an all-pro, but he's coming off the bench for me. I got Rod Woodson coming off the bench. 30-year-old Rod Woodson.
All right, well.
All right, Team Croc on the clock.
Yeah, we're going to go with Carlos Rogers. All right. You know me, I like to load up on the secondary members, and this is a guy who didn't have a great career, but did have a 6-interception season for the 49ers and really was a big part of them having some success over a couple years there with the Harbaugh era. So he's able to play outside. He's able to play inside. He's kind of my utility guy. I know I have a lot of secondary guys, but you can never have too much coverage.
All right. All right.
Love it. Team Wink, where you going?
I'm sticking with my strength, right? I mean, I only have three defensive backs right now. I should probably get a fourth. You know, I have my defensive ends coming through there. I'm going to pack so much punch in the middle of this thing that you guys aren't going to be able to run these 3 sets. You're going to have to run jumbo packages to protect your quarterbacks because I'm coming at you so hard here, which leads me to my safety. It actually, you want to talk about a hard hitter. Hit is in his name. Okay? Give me Dante Whitner. And he's going to come up. You're not going to be able to run on it. You try to pass, it's fine. But if you do, let's go back to my pass rushes. Young, Stubblefield, Dean. Come on. It goes on. I even talk about the all-time leader in Wilson. Like, all right, I feel good.
I like it. And then you can even rotate in Chris Hardman and Dolman, too, on the other side.
They're going to stay fresh. Hardman, Dean, Coleman, going to be rushing.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Definitely hitting people.
And again, I'm going to play into my strengths here. I'm going to go back to my offensive side. I'm going to go to my backfield where I already have Roger Craig and I have Frank Gore. So I have the 2 best 49er running backs of all time. And I'm going to add a guy who you want to put 3 guys in that backfield. You want to just put one of those studs and then somebody to lead block for them. I'm talking about the reason I wore number 40 in high school as a fullback, William Bar None Floyd.
I almost typed in Kyle Juszczyk. I thought you were going Juice with that pick, but you went Bar None William Floyd.
None.
That William Floyd, Ricky Waters backfield doesn't get enough credit for how ridiculous it was.
It was just such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Who was better, Floyd or Beasley?
Beasley was good.
Oh, Fred Beasley was really good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They've had some damn good fullbacks, haven't they?
They really have.
Forgot about Fred Beasley. That's a good pull.
Yeah, well, I'm not going Fred Beasley here or any other fullback. That doesn't really matter. I'm actually going to go with a guy that, for whatever reason, was one of my favorite players to watch on the 49ers. I don't know why. Had a little bit of razzle-dazzle. Again, I was going to go with Crabtree here. You took Crabtree, but I want 4 receivers out there. So to go with these guys, we talked about kind of the attitude I was bringing with my squad. We're going with Brandon Lloyd. All right. Need that guy that's that deep threat, not so much with speed, but just with his spectacular catch ability. I just think, instead of playing with Kenny Pickett or whoever the hell he was playing with, he gets to play with Steve Young. How much better would his career be if he had been able to start with him? Because he did have a season where he went crazy. I believe with the Denver Broncos, had like 1,500 yards. Imagine if he had that the entire time and catching passes from a guy like Steve Young. So let's go. Brandon Lloyd, one of my favorite players growing up.
It was like right after he left the 49ers, too. It's like, darn it.
He was really good. Some of the best hands, just like acrobatic ability to make catches, like ridiculous. He made a couple catches that didn't even count. There was like one in a preseason game. There was one that was like out of bounds. He was like just flying through the air, diving, one-handed catch.
He's catching passes from Ken Dorsey. Like, come on.
All right, we made it, guys. The last selection, the all-time San Francisco 49ers draft, number 75 overall. And this player has played the least amount of snaps of anybody that has been drafted here. But we're getting this player at his peak, right? That's what we're drafting. We're getting these players at their peak with the San Francisco 49ers. We haven't seen Trey Lance's peak yet, but I'm betting on it. I got a backup quarterback. When we come back in 5 years, he might be starting over John Brodie for Team Peacock. So I'm betting on the future. I'm betting on the young man that was number 3 overall pick by the 49ers in 2021, the quarterback of the future, Trey Lance.
Love it. Love it.
Fantastic stuff. All right. That is Team Winkler, Team Crocker, and Team Peacock. Let us know at BD Peacock, at Eric_Crocker, at Bay Area Wink, who has the best squad. We've got base offenses and defense. We got a little sub package. We got some wrinkles we can throw out there with some of the personnel we have drafted here with 75 all-time 49ers greats. Which squad do you like best? Let us know in the YouTube comments as well. Appreciate everybody for following along for these 4 episodes. Wink, thanks for joining us and completing the triumvirate in this 3-team draft. It was a lot more fun even than our 2-team draft was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, so much more fun. My pleasure, guys.
Croc and I will be back tomorrow. Thanks for making Locked On 49ers your first listen. For your second listen, check out the Peacock and Williamson NFL show. Check out Croc doing Locked On NFL Draft. Make sure you're subscribed up on YouTube, on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Croc and I back tomorrow right here, Locked On 49ers.
See ya.